The story begins with a couple named Mason and Amelia who were going to attend a grand party in their private jet. Very soon, they reached the venue and started enjoying the party. After a while, they met a man named Perez, who was the richest among them and was also hosting the party. Here, Mason told them that he has a car collection and he is very fond of cars. Now, Perez was happy to hear this because he was also very fond of collecting cars. After this, he took Mason and Amelia to his private garage so that he could show them his car collection. Here, Perez showed them his favorite car, which was worth about $200 million. Now, looking at this car, Mason and Amelia wanted to sit inside it and feel it. Now, Perez also accepted their request and gave them permission to sit in the car. Now, as soon as they sat in the car, Amelia gave a signal to a hacker named Link, and as soon as the signal was received, Link turned off all the lights in the garage. And in the meantime, Mason's men attacked Perez and dropped him on the ground. Now, taking advantage of this opportunity, Mason started the car and ran away with it. Now, here it is clear that Mason and Amelia are professional thieves, and their purpose of going to that party was only to steal this car. After this, they put this car in a big truck and started running away from the country. But before they could succeed in running away, a FBI team started chasing them. Now, looking at this, Mason was wondering how the FBI found out about their plan. But as soon as Amelia pointed her gun at Mason, all his confusion disappeared. Now, there was a twist in the story, and it was revealed that Amelia is actually not a thief, but an FBI agent, and she pretended to love Mason so that he could catch her red-handed. Now, knowing this, Mason was heartbroken because he loved Amelia very much. But despite this, he asked his team for Plan B, and as soon as he got these orders, he dropped all his cars in the river. Now, because of this Plan B, he was not able to steal that car, but he was saved from being caught by the FBI. After this, we see the scene 3 months later, where Mason has now stopped stealing and started living a normal life outside the city. Now, one day Mason's younger brother Sean came to him and told him that he is planning to steal in a bank, and he also wants to include Mason in this plan. However, Mason refused by saying that he is now retired, and he does not want to get involved in any new trouble. Here, Sean tried to convince him, but when Mason did not agree, Sean left. But before leaving, he gave Mason a call so that if his mind changes, he can be included in this plan. Now, 3 days passed by, but Mason's decision did not change. Now, on the day of the theft, Link called Mason and asked him why he was so late for today's theft. Now, Mason was surprised to hear this because he had refused Sean for this mission. Actually, Sean had told his team members that Mason is ready to join this plan. Now, Mason was very angry at first, but to handle this matter, he had to join Sean's plan even though he did not want to. On the other hand, we see Sean who was sitting in a coffee shop outside the bank because the manager of that bank comes to that coffee shop every day to drink coffee. Now, as soon as the manager came to the coffee shop, Sean went to him and made him a hostage by pointing a gun at him. After this, he took the manager to the bank, but then Mason came there and stopped him from going inside. Here, Mason told Sean that this plan of yours is not right, and we will all die in this. On this, Sean said that there is no use of all this now because our team has already gone inside the bank. After this, these three went to the bank where Mason saw that all the people in his team had disguised themselves and got involved with the common people. Here, Sean took the manager to a corner and asked him to open the door. But instead of opening the door, the manager rang the security alarm of the bank. Now, as soon as the alarm rang, there was a commotion in the whole bank and the security guards of the bank started shooting at these thieves. However, Mason's team very easily finished the job of these guards and made all the customers in the bank a hostage. Now here, Mason asked Sean that what is your real target? On this, Sean said that he is in search of a locker that belongs to a woman named Isabel Farrow, and there is a hard drive in that locker which contains a cryptocurrency worth millions of dollars. Now, after hearing this, Mason took the manager to the vault of the bank and asked him to open the locker. Now, pay attention. One key of this locker was with the manager and the other key was with Isabel, i.e., the owner of this locker. And this locker will only open when these two keys go inside the locker together. Now, the twist in the story was that Sean did not know about the other key for an hour, and this brother had entered the bank with his entire gang to steal. Now, when Mason found out about this, he got very angry at Sean. After this, he told Link to hack that locker and bypass its security and open it. Now, Link did his magic and hacked this locker in the next few minutes and opened it. But when he opened that locker, he did not find any hard drive inside. Now, looking at this, the manager started laughing and said to Mason that this is just a decoy box and I don't even know where the real box is. Now, looking at this situation, Mason got very angry and he scolded Sean for this bad planning. On the other hand, we see the FBI team which had taken the entire army and reached outside the bank. And the leader of this mission was no one else but Mason's ex-girlfriend Amelia. Here, Amelia contacted Mason's team where Link started confusing her with his talks. But Amelia was aware of these methods, so she told Link to talk to Mason immediately. Now, here Link told Mason that FBI wants to talk to you. Here, Mason told Sean to keep an eye on that manager and quickly reached Link's room. Now, when he heard Amelia's voice on the phone, his old memories came back. But then Mason reminded himself that now Amelia is his enemy and she has come to catch his team. After this, Mason started negotiating with Amelia and told her that you keep your team 50 feet away from the bank. Otherwise, I will kill these hostages one by one. Along with this, you arrange pizza and beer for all of us. And to deliver those pizza boxes, you yourself come inside the bank. Now, Amelia accepted this demand, but in return, she asked Mason for the release of 2 people. And Mason also accepted this demand without hesitating. After this, Mason's team shifted all the hostages to the hall above and started waiting for Amelia. Now, after a while, Amelia arranged to eat and drink and took him inside the bank. Now, here he met Mason, who was very happy to see him and started talking to him lovingly. However, Amelia did not pay attention to these things and asked Mason to surrender. But Mason refused it and sent Amelia out of the bank. After this, he fed everyone and released 2 people according to the deal. But then something happened that no one expected. Actually, that manager attacked Sean and fled from there with his gun. Now, seeing this, Mason also ran after him, and after a long run, he was finally caught. After this, Mason interrogated the manager and got all the information about Isabel. Now, the manager told him that Isabel Farrow is the wife of the country's biggest gangster, Abel. He tells that Abel is a very dangerous gangster, and he has the support of all the powerful politicians of this country. And maybe there is evidence of the black deeds of those politicians in that hard drive. And if that evidence comes out, the government of this country will be in danger. However, even after knowing all this, Mason decided to steal that hard drive so that he could blackmail the government and get out of this bank. At the same time, a car stopped outside the bank, in which no one else but Abel's lawyer was present. Here he ordered Amelia that if in the next hour your team does not catch those thieves, then the U.S. Army will attack this bank. Now Amelia did not understand who this man was who gave her the order. Now she talked to her supervisor about this, where she found out that the man's name is Alex and he is Abel's lawyer. Here, the supervisor told Amelia that Abel has the support of all the powerful politicians of this country, and therefore we cannot do anything in this matter. He tells Amelia to try to get those thieves out of the bank as soon as possible, because if she goes inside the U.S. Army bank once, along with those thieves, many hostages will also be killed. On the other hand, Mason and his team started breaking the wall of the locker room because they hoped that the bank would have hidden Isabel Farrow's vault in a secret room. But as soon as they break one wall, another wall comes in front of them. On the other hand, the U.S. Army surrounded the bank from all sides and started preparing to enter. Now seeing this, Amelia called Mason and told him to surrender, because if the U.S. Army goes inside the bank once, then the death of these thieves is certain. Now Mason told Amelia to leak in the media that the U.S. Army is going to attack the bank, because if it comes out of the media bank once, then the U.S. Army will not be able to take any action. Now Amelia did exactly the same and leaked this in the media. Now as soon as she saw it, it came out of the media bank, and this news spread like wildfire throughout the country. Now seeing all this, the FBI head was quite upset, and he got Amelia out of this case. After this, he called Mason and threatened him that if your team does not surrender in the next 15 minutes, then we will come inside the bank. While inside the bank, Mason's team found the room where Isabel's locker was kept. Now as soon as they found the locker, Mason told Link to hack this locker and bypass its password to open it. On this, Link said that the security of this locker is quite strong, and it will take at least 10 minutes to open it. While in the next 8 minutes, the U.S. Army will come inside the bank. Now seeing this, Mason made a plan and started releasing all the hostages one by one, so that Link could get time to open the locker. Now in the next few minutes, everyone was released, and after releasing the manager, Mason's team members started surrendering one by one. Now everyone came out of the bank, but Mason and Link were still inside the bank. Now seeing this, the FBI head got very angry, and he ordered the U.S. Army to go inside the bank and shoot Mason as soon as they saw him. Now as soon as the orders were received, the U.S. Army entered the bank and started looking for Mason like dogs. Now as soon as they reached the room, they saw Mason, who was waiting for them with a bomb in his hand. Now before they could think of anything, there was an explosion, and Mason and all the soldiers of the U.S. Army were killed. And in this way, Due to this bad planning of Sean, Mason had to lose his life. If you feel the same way, then wait a little, because now there is going to be a big twist in the story. Now, a few months after this incident, Amelia resigned from the FBI because she did not want to work with these corrupt people. Now, after this resignation, she went to a private island to celebrate her holidays, where Mason was already waiting for her. Now here it is revealed that Mason and Amelia were in the same team from the beginning, and both of them deliberately failed the theft of Perez's car so that the FBI could trust Amelia. After this, the story goes into flashback, and we see this story a little before that explosion. Now, when the U.S. Army came inside the bank, Mason demanded from them that he wants to meet Abel's lawyer Alex. Now, even though he did not want to, he had to accept Mason's demand because all the evidence was still with Mason. Now, after a while, Alex went to meet Mason, where Mason threatened him and said that if you do not put $500 million in my account, then I will publish all these evidences. Along with this, you will have to give me and my team a new identity so that we can start a new life with that new name. Now that Abel's neck was in Mason's hands, he accepted all Mason's demands. After this, a fake explosion was made in the bank so that people think that Mason has died in this explosion. On the other hand, we see Mason and Amelia, who have now left the theft and started a new life with a new identity. I hope you liked today's story. If you like this video, then like it and subscribe to the channel and leave a nice message in the comments. See you in the next video, but until then, Happy New Year to all of you.